Good. Oh, we need to push the button. Push the button. We pushed the button. Good morning, everyone, fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is I. And I didn't remember to push the button, which is kind of normal for me, I guess. What do we got today we can do? We can do some hip-hoppiness. I need to add this to our favorites. And then I need to say rules. Always move these to the new folder that I just made called Bills. There we go. All right. So, how is everybody out there in the land of this land? And we shall call it this land. I feel like that's also probably got to be moved over. I'm making rules for things, not the least of which is how many things are moving over into the folder that I have now made called Bills. And I think that every place here so I don't know what this said. We've got these emails that keep coming in that are just numbers. And I mean, I get it. I mean, like, obviously that's sort of a thing, but it's kind of like, well, all right, we'll close this. Close this. Because that is what we were working on last night, and we're not doing that today. It's not to say I don't want to do that, but we're not doing that today. And that is continuing on with the photography over there. We're not doing that this morning. We're going to get back to work. Work. That's us. Work all the time. All right, here we are. I'm sort of feeling like I'm still a little, bring me down just a little bit. Because we could be over here, but we're not. We're going to be over here. What are we opening? What's the last thing we opened? Does anybody know? Nobody knows. Act 1. Momentary ghosts. We're on issue 2. I think we're working right now on redoing this scene. And I think we're back into the thinking mode, which is kind of a bummer, but that's okay. I got a boodly boop. Hey there, Jackson. How you doing? Manage. Oh boy. How you doing this morning, my friend? I am tearing up my comic again. I'm like, uh, the usual. The huge. That's right. We'll get work done together. We'll work together today. It's all good. My glasses have fingerprints on them. So my mom was a talent agent and a producer, and she worked in the movie industry. And she started out her career retyping scripts. That's the first job she did. And so she would get a script and she'd get changes from the editor or something like that, and she'd have to retype the whole script. Because back in the early 80s, we didn't have an easy way to photocopy. Xerox machines were expensive, and you really couldn't haul them around with you and stick them on set. So, especially if you were out here in Colorado, because usually when they were out in Colorado, they were on location. So they were doing something out here to try to, they were on location. Either way, the entire unit would come out here. So they'd get their first unit and the second unit, and they'd come out here, and then they do a revision on the script. And when they did, they might have had a mimeograph machine, but they didn't have a copier, and certainly there was no PCs, no personal computers to do any of this on. So she would retype things, and my mother was phenomenal at typing. She said she could do 80 words a minute with her fingernails on and 100 words a minute with them off, because she wore fake fingernails, as most people did in the 80s. So she wore the plastic fingernails that she sat on top there, which, as I grow older, my nails are getting kind of fragile, and I'm kind of like, I could stand to put, and now I'm like noticing that guys wear fingernail polish, and I'm thinking, cool, because maybe I'll put fingernail polish on, because I'm okay with that and would strengthen my nails, and they wouldn't break as much, because they're starting to break down to the quick. But anyway, doesn't really matter. She had a Corona Selectric typewriter, and I remember it because I tried typing on it. Yeah, but I could also put glittery blue polish on my nails, and they'd be glittery and blue, and that would be cool. I'm just saying, sometimes I have the heart of like a 10-year-old girl. Just saying. But I could do glittery blue. I mean, like sometimes in my soul. Hey Rose, how you doing? So glittery blue would be awesome. So anyway, my mom would type on, we're doing great. Oh yeah, I can't do black. Glittery green though. So it's going well so far. I mean, we're early. I have an entire scene to rewrite. I'm not necessarily thrilled about that part, but okay. So, My mom would type about 100 words a minute on this Selectric, and it was a Corona Selectric. So it was an electric typewriter, and she could type so fast that she'd type and then she'd grab her coffee and take a sip while the typewriter was still going, and because it had buffered up, and it would hit at this point where she'd start typing and it would start going ding 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 ding, and she'd have to stop. She'd grab her coffee, take a sip, put the coffee down, and then start typing again, and it would clear the buffer so it never stopped. And I remember as a kid thinking, this is like magic. It was like ghosts, because I had never, of course, this was 1982, 1983. I'd never seen anything like that. I'd never seen a typewriter run by itself. I'd never seen anything run by itself. This was the very, very early part of that. So, Rose, this is my layout page for my comic, and what I've got going on here is these are my layouts. If I get close to it, like here, you can see what I've actually done is written up the script inside here so that I know what I want to write, and sort of just, oh, she is a lovely individual. She's part of the core of who I am. Very much the core of who I am is based out of my mom. But the reason I was saying this whole story though was she would get handwritten notes that she'd have to write into the script. So she would take them, and then one night she was typing in there, and I heard her say, "Kids, can you come in here real quick?" And she called my sister in there and I in there, and she said, "What is this word?" And all three of us agreed that the word was Frugerpooches. And that was the word. We could not understand the word. We were so sure, all three of us were so sure that it was Frugerpooches. Ultimately, she had to call the writer, and I mean, to this day, I still remember it was David. I almost can remember his last name, almost. Anyway, doesn't really matter. She called him up. He worked with Universal, and she called him up and she said, "David, what's the story with Frugerpooches?" And he said, "What?" And you wrote Frugerpooches. And she read the rest of the sentence. He goes, "Oh no, that's fingerprints." So, since this was 1983 or whatever, I think I was 11 years old at that time. Yeah, I would have been 11. My sister would have been 8. So for the rest of our time together with my mom, my sister, and I, and still to this day with my sister and I, you don't want to put Frugerpooches on the window. You need to wipe out all the Frugerpooches that are on your glasses. And I mean, to this day, it is still an ongoing. Okay, let me answer that question for you, because I can. Here we go. So this comic is already out, and part of it is the first issue is, this is issue 2 and 3. So let me show you where it is. I will get a link for you. Here you go. There we go. And also, because Jackson's on here too. Jackson is Art Crumbs. You can also find Jackson's comic. Bellatrix Rising is mine. God's Bane is Jackson's, and so Art Crumbs is that right side one which says God's Bane. You can find both of them on Global Comics. For Jackson's, obviously, it's globalcomics.com/C/God's Bane dash. I'm not sure why there's a dash at the end, but there is. So, and I think it has something to do with the way that Global Comics formats things. But feel free to explore that at your, yes, because you're planning multiple languages. I actually am as well, but only Japanese. I'm only going into Japanese. Japanese and English. But I've just got to say, I am not looking forward to trying to figure out how to explain in-space phenomenon in Japanese. Just saying. I wonder if I could translate direct. Like, how well could I translate? Bruh. There we go. I'll load primary episode 1. So, Rose, I'm making a Star Trek adjacent comic. I'm a science fiction writer. So I'm also a stupidly large Star Trek nerd, which is why you can see starships behind me. And I'll give you the pitch on my story. The story is about a starship named the UMC Kittiwake, which is this guy right here. And it's 500 years in the future now. And the Kittiwake is coming to do it. It's just a routine ship. It does routine things. It's not the flagship of the fleet. It's not anything special, but obviously every ship is special in its own way. But its entire job is to do routine jobs. Like in this case, it's doing a wellness check on a star system called Moment, and it's just a routine checkup on the star system to make sure it's okay. It drops into the star system, and when it does, it runs into a big problem. The planet is not where it's supposed to be. It has moved halfway across the star system, so the planet's in the wrong place. So they move to they fly over to the planet to find that the planet it's in dire need. It's sending out distress signals. Things are on fire. All of this stuff is going bad. And so they, of course, start rendering aid. They're looking for a senator. They're supposed to be picking up a senator there, who is just doing his normal kissing babies tour or whatever it is that senators do. So they try to find the senator, and when they find the senator, they find that he has found a survivor in an area that was absolutely destroyed, absolutely devastated. And there's not a single living person within 200 kilometers of this except for this one 14-year-old girl. And she is unconscious. And he's got her summoned, calls for aid, and they take her aboard. He's doing fine. And she has a mystery because she's speaking perfect 21st century English when she mumbles in her sleep. And she can't breathe the atmosphere on the ship. And so which means she doesn't have the enhancements that the humans usually get so that they can live with the aliens as a crew. And so that's where we are. That's the end of this episode, or this issue, and that starts our quest. So what I'm working on now is book 2 and 3. I have all of their sort of semi layouts already set up, but I took it and gave it to my best friend, who is it's lots of work. My best friend is a lieutenant colonel with the U.S. Army, and he read it through, and I've been keeping him intentionally in the dark for the stories because he's great for checking to see if there's holes or problems. And he had some big problems with a couple of big plot issues. So here we are, back to the drawing board, so to speak, because we've got to fix pages 20 through 27 on here. I have an idea. What if, because one of the complaints that he had said was they wouldn't let her go alone. The ship wouldn't let Alex go alone. But I need her to get off the ship. I'm wondering if I should introduce Cap. So, a cap is when you take aircraft and you take aircraft off of the deck of a aircraft carrier to fly essentially a patrol, and they're flying cap, and it's combat air patrol is what that stands for. But if you're flying cap, which I think they would be in this situation, the city is in bad shape. The combat air patrol would have to come from somewhere else because the Kittiwake doesn't carry fighters aboard. She just has the Princess, which is the MPV in the back. So, but we could introduce Moments Cap. Then I could say the Cap's watching. But from afar, right? I mean, like, plot-wise, I need to get the character away from the ship for the plot, right? And this is the standard problems that any writer has. How do you get a situation to set up so that you can do this for the plot, for the benefit of the plot, but you don't have to worry about I'm having an idea. So at the end of this scene, we start back in here with the Kittiwake. Then Alex is being shown to the VIP room, which is here. Just make sure that we put in some words or something to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing here. Okay, so Alex is being shown to the VIP quarters by this rating, and I guess the rating, I don't know. I'll have to think about what I want the rating to do. But I mean, the rating's got to that's one of the things that has happened with my comic. If you're still with us, Rose, and I don't know whether you're still with us or not. One of the things I'm doing with my comic is my aliens are alien. Like, they're not human at all. And so the Jacine, which is what this guy is here, he's a Jacine, is sort of a armored jellyfish type creature whom actually lives in a zone upstairs on the top floor, which is at high pressure. So they're in a pressure vessel, on the top part of the ship where they do all their work and they present themselves holographically around the ship. When the ship is in space and all of the holograms shut down, they then move around the ship in pressurized spacesuits so that they can continue to do their jobs. But it's easier for them to walk around, or not. They float around the ship as unarmored or as jellyfish sort of thing. So our quartermaster on this ship is a Jessine. So he's just showing her to her room, and he's given her an assignment and things like that. And so she's got the tasks on there for this. So this is a small amount of interaction here that I need to think about between these two characters. And then he puts her in the room. And I like the idea of her turning around and looking back from the room. But I think the next scene my heart character, the character who is caring and loving, is my pilot, and I think that she should show up next. I also feel like this scene could take the load off of a scene in issue 3, where Chang is putting together a ton of information and is connecting all the dots. Because Chang comes up with a ton of thought processes in that scene. And while it's entirely plausible that she thought those things through because she's a brilliant person, it is kind of clunky and makes it difficult for the reader because the reader has to follow all of Chang's thought processes. Although we could have a funny moment where wait. I'm having an idea. Oh, this is good. I like this. Right? My dad was kind of an anus orifice. Anus orifice? Yeah, that's not what it sounds like in English. Oh, thus breaking the fourth wall just a little bit to show you guys that the translators that she's being automatically translated out of English to hear what Mayrel is hearing, right? Oh, that's good. I like that one. That one's funny. All right, that's okay. So we're gonna bring Mayrel into the room. And she's gonna talk to just need to make this translation right here. Like I'm coming out of a scene and then returning to the same spot. So there needs to be a translation. There has to be something that shows the transition of the scene from one side to the other. I need another scene, is what I need. This is good. If I just sit here for a minute. No. That's not what I want. Let's do. Well, that's not what I want. Let's do. That's not what I want. There you go. Lieutenant, how's it going? I'm just finishing the door coding now. Have we looked at her DNA yet, sir? Okay, so Lieutenant, how's it going? I'm just finishing the door coding now. Have we looked at her DNA yet, sir? Mayoral says, I think so. Why? Quartermaster says, I'm no medic, but there's something interesting about her code. I've seen it before. There we go. I was part of the rescue teams from Xingqiao. This looks similar. So I am laying in a story-wide red herring at this point in time, which is I'm trying to intentionally mislead my readers. Or at least not mislead my readers, but mislead the characters. I'm definitely trying to mislead the characters. So they're chasing a red herring at this point, which is what we're after it right now, and what I'm writing in at this point in time on the story. The only reason I paused is because I'm thinking about how to enter the next scene or the next sentence correctly. I'm attacking it from different angles in my head. I've got these two characters standing in the hallway in my head, and they're talking back and forth. And I'm kind of like letting them play out a scene, and then I'll rewind it, and then I'll let them play out the scene in a different way, trying to kind of craft the phrasing. It's interesting because there is actually a voice for each one of these characters. Like, I can describe to some degree what Mayrell's voice sounds like. And this Jacine has a male intoned voice. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter. Jacine don't necessarily reproduce the same way we do. So whatever they choose, they just select a gender just so that they for interface purposes. So it doesn't really matter. They select a gender for their voice, but they do all try to keep the same voice pattern, because that way you can identify one from another. But it's a concession that they use for the humans. It's very much like the Shakrana. The Shakrana don't communicate by voice at all. They communicate by color codes on their shell. But in concession, they concede to talk to the humans in a voice, which is why Gunny has a grumbly, gruff, rough male voice, because Gunny sounds like an old retired sergeant to me. Not a retired sergeant, but a sergeant who's been in the army for 40 years. You know what I mean? Like, he's been there forever. He's seen it all. There's nothing you can show him. Nothing's new. He's got this old, gruff, rattling voice that he uses. It's completely generated, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, his real voice is not a voice, because they don't... Where Shakrana live, they live in hard vacuum, and so there's no voice. There's no reason to communicate. They don't talk to each other. The Jacine talk via electrical impulses, so they communicate through the thick atmosphere of their home world. Telepathically is not right, electrically. And so what they're really doing is communicating to a vocoder that's in the bay that they live in, and they communicate to the vocoder, and the vocoder then translates their electrical impulses into speech. Whereas the Shakrana just practice talking in a very small voice, so that they're not using their whole shell, they're using a section of the shell, and then they have a vocoder that snaps onto that area, and then they just color the codes right in front of the vocoder. The vocoder reads those codes and then uses it as speech. But it means that they're always whispering, because if they talk too loud, then the vocoder can't see all of the words. Because usually they use their whole shell. In fact, I kind of think it's funny thinking about how the Shakrana live their life, right? Like, they use the colors on their shell to always be sort of the uniform of the unity. And so they change the photophores, the cells on their shell, to change colors to make their uniform. And then in one little spot they're talking. But essentially, it's like they're constantly going, uniform, 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 uniform. Like, they're constantly saying the word uniform over and over and over to other Shakrana. Okay. You can lurk. It's fine. So, Jackson, today after this, I'm going up to CU Boulder and I'm going to take the tour of the campus and look around and talk to some people about getting back into school. And so I might be doing these sessions at night where we're doing homework. Cultural anthropology. Why people do what people do in cultures. Anthropology is not necessarily archaeology, but I want to get a PhD. I think it's time for me to go for my doctorate. And that's my way of bribing myself to go back to school. Because I don't want to go back because I'm annoyed by the whole bachelor's degree thing and it makes me mad. And every time I think about it, I get all wound up. And so, yeah. But this is my way of bribing myself to go back because I'm going to have to go back in and get a 101 degree. There's nothing I can do about it. But if I do like Japanese culture as my bachelor's and then move up to anthropology and just cultures in general, I might be able to clep out because clearly I don't need Japanese 101 because I almost had N2 rating when I was there. And now I've probably dropped down to N4, but that's all right. I mean, still N4 means that I'm still somewhere out there on the, So, I mean, but I could also take Japanese and get my Japanese finally up to N1, which is what I really want. At least N2, if not N1. Yeah, N4 is still above 101. I'm not an N5. I can have conversations with people. I just do the grammar wrong. It was actually kind of cool because at NDK this last weekend, Nami, who is our translator, Nami and I have become buddies. And so, okay, I'll see you later, Rose. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I do this every day from 9 to 11 and every night from 9 to 11 Mountain Time. So wherever you are relative to Mountain, it's 9 to 11 every 12 hours. And you can join me at any time. And if you have work to do, we can work together. That's the point. So, anyway, so back to what I was saying. Nami was there, and at one point, she was trying to find a place, and she walked by me, and in Japanese, she said, "Hey, where is this meeting going to take place?" And I said, "It's going to take place in Japanese." I said, "It's going to take place in the game room, but not until 8. And she goes, 8? I thought it started at 7. And this is all in Japanese. And I'm like, no, it's 8 because we have to wait for people to come back from the storage unit. And I said all of that in Japanese. We just had this burst of Japanese. And she's like, okay, cool, thanks. And then left. And I was so proud of myself that I could still, I mean, I'm sure Nami's sitting there going, you should have put this here and that there. But she got it. And she was at the place at 8 o'clock, not 7. So clearly she got the message. But yeah, Nami has been working with me on Mondays to work on my Japanese. So Nami's married to an American who has attention deficit. And so originally her husband and I were meeting on Monday nights because we were going to work on our Japanese because she wants his Japanese to be better too, because they both go to Japan all the time and he's just crashing when he's over there. So we were supposed to do that, but we're both ADDers. And so instead we sat at Starbucks and talked about all kinds of cool things, none of which was Japanese. So finally she got fed up with both of us. And now she's meeting with us now. And we're all learning Japanese, damn it. She just adopted me into the family. And now her son and her husband and me all sit around and do Japanese. And that's what we do. So that's the funniest part about this whole thing. Oh yeah, I mean, I totally understood what she was saying, and so, but she's the translator for NDK, so like she's the one who goes and gets Japanese guests and brings them back, and she interfaces with the guests. And what she wants me to do is learn enough Japanese that I can interface with the guests too, because I'm a director. And at director level, that's very high up. I don't know. I mean, like, if we were to do Japanese here on this podcast, this broadcast, I wouldn't feel like you were slowing me down. You'd probably be speeding me up, though. You probably wouldn't be slowing me down. I mean, there's a difference. I think you're selling yourself short. Anyway, so maybe cultural studies in Japanese would be good, because then I could skip and clap out of a lot of places, and that would get me a little further down the road. Because I certainly could clap out of Japanese 101. Nobody needs to teach me katakana and hiragana and like the 12 basic kanji. I mean, I've got all those. That's easy. That's not hard at all. And I mean, you could sit there and talk to me about Matsuri and things like that, and I could tell you stories about what I used to do during summer Matsuri and stuff like that. But either way, getting a degree in cultural studies in Japanese would put me in a better place to plausibly get a job at the consulate, which is definitely something I need to think about. This is all stuff that Dr. Friedman and I talked about over the weekend. So Dr. Friedman is my new bestest friend in the whole world. I absolutely adore Dr. Friedman. Dr. Friedman is a routine guest who comes to NDK. She's an expert in Japanese culture. That's her doctorate. So she writes a number of books on pop culture in Japanese. So she writes books on anime and the interface of anime. And she did an entire book on trains. And it's like the coolest book ever. I loves it. And she did a panel on trains. And I was so excited to go to this panel. And I sat down in the panel. And then one of my divisions called and needed help. And I was like, finally getting to the trains panel. So I missed it, which is a bummer, because she was going to talk about all the different types of trains, and she was going to talk about the culture that exists around trains. Why am I not affiliated with whom? I am affiliated. I'm just affiliated with Star Trek. I don't know. What do you mean? By what do you mean affiliated, though, Rose? Oh, on Twitch. I'm sorry. I think the answer really kind of is that I'm old and I don't know all of the ins and outs of these things. Let me go to Twitch real quick and see. And log into my own station. Oh, I need to log in. Why do I need to log in? I shouldn't need to. Why is everything? Oh my goodness. I'm not logging in from a new device, people. Oh, right out loud. This is why I don't do these things. This is not a new device. This is exactly the old device. This is the same old device it was the last time I was here. I have to log into Twitch real quick. And the worst part is that it's yammering on. Going to my channel because I'm broadcasting. And I turn the volume up so that I can hear it. Off. There we go. Oh, subscribe option. So I don't think I have all of I don't think I have the requirements, which is what I'm looking for right now. No. I mean, I'm old as in I don't understand all of the I don't all understand all the rules of all of the different social medias. Sorry. And so some of the social medias are confusing to me. It does specifically say that, right? Creator dashboard. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, I've got 52 followers. And I've had 5 people chatting at the same time. What else do I need to do? Choose your accent color. Done. Profile banner. Links to social media. Stream manager. Settings. Community. Huh. I'm looking through all of the widgets. Trying to figure out what's going on. I am on Discord. Would you like the Discord connection? I will turn on Discord. Discord's where you can share your artwork too if you want. If you want. It's not required, but a lot of people who join me on my stream are fellow comic artists, or there are writers or authors or artists of some sort or another. I got to load Discord. It's taking forever because I was at a convention all weekend last weekend, and I'm a director of that convention, so it takes me out for the whole week. From Tuesday to Tuesday, I'm at the hotel, and so part of it is that every time I come back, I have to start everything, and everything goes, "You haven't been here. Are you sure you're the real person?" And I'm like, no, I didn't want to push that button. Okay, here we go. Here's the Discord. Well, I thought they were trying two art crumbs. I thought they were changing that because of the people who were complaining about it. I feel like that was a thing that people were doing because I get that they want to be exclusive, but I use yeah, I won't. It doesn't matter. I don't think I've hit all of the pieces yet. So, looking over on Twitch, yeah, we value your privacy. Proceed? Good. Thank you. All right, let's see what we've got that I need to do for my scheduling. Alerts. Bang, bonk, alerts are here. Okay. What if I don't want to create alerts? Hike trains and goals. Oh my God. See what I mean? Like, this is all so complicated. All of these things. It's kind of cool. I mean, I get it, but it's like I don't understand all of these things necessarily. I don't game much, but there's open broadcast software, which is kind of cool. Okay, settings. Channel? No. Community? Analytics. Research. Oh, okay. Cool. So my average viewer to channel ratio is 6.3. Interesting. I tend to get a lot of viewers in the afternoon. Hey, Red. How you doing? Been a while. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to where we are. Wherever that is. All right. You were looking stuff up, which is cool. I'm still having a problem in my Discord server because I don't want it. It's the bot that's connected to Restream is spitting all of this information out to the duck pond, and I actually made a channel which I want it to record all of this information into as if it was a log, but I don't want it to be in the duck pond because the duck pond is like where we should be sharing our artwork. And Brent was on it, but then Brent got confused and then forgot. So I'm still trying to fix it. So if you go over to the Discord server, you can see that it's just spitting all kinds of stuff out into the duck pond, which is kind of annoying. But does at least give me it gives you an ability to go back and see what was going on. Good morning. No, I hear the music. Sometimes it's funny to read these things. Yeah, maybe I should do it. Oh, yeah. That's not a bad idea. Actually, it's not a bad idea at all. Except that all of you guys are going to it. Like every time I set up, well, I guess you can find the other channels too, right? I mean, if I were to rename, oh, wait. Okay, so Rose has joined Stream Archive. There. I'll wave to say hi. Hi, Rose. Well, let's do this. Let's edit the channel and call it Stream Archive. For the... Let's see if that'll work. And then we'll change this one to there we go. There we go. See, that worked actually far better than I expected it to. I just did that. So now It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now we put you in the duck pond and we create an invite, and it makes it a slightly different invite, it looks like. So for those of you who are wondering, the duck pond has moved to here, and the other one is the stream archive now. It just takes this stream and it's copying it to the stream archive so you can go back and read it out. But we should all probably be talking in the duck pond, right? I mean, like, that's what we should be doing. So there we go. All right. Look at us doing the right thing today. Look at how productive we've been. And it's only been an hour and 10 minutes. We are so awesome. And I still have half of a coffee. Moreover, I have a pot of coffee downstairs just waiting for a refill. Because this morning is a coffee morning. Some mornings we just have to have a coffee morning. What a wonderful day. All right. All right. There we go. Nobody's really posting in Bellatrix Rising at this point, which is fine. Get started 3 of 5. What does that mean? And can I take maybe... Oh, what I should probably do is in the stream archive, I should make a post and pin it. And I want to pin it. How do I pin this thing? Pin. Oh yeah. Pin it. All right. Right. There we go. Perfect. So I put that out there and I pinned it, which means that people who come into the stream archive now can go, oh, this is the stream archive, which is cool. This is for the 6 of you who actually go to the duck pond. But I think we keep posting art and the duck pond, and then it just gets the duck pond isn't a duck pond. It's like the duck high pressure river. And so every time we put a duck in the river, it just it's whisked away down the river. Right? So there's our analogy for the day. Duck rapids. I'm just saying, duck rapids. Poor ducks. All right, now I've got a scene. Wow, that actually kind of turned out cool. I can see that to some degree. All right. What'd she say? Hey there. I think part of this should be that it feels weird. So I think the answer to Rose's question, by the way, was just that I don't have all of the pieces yet to affiliate. Yeah, I'm missing one of them. And the problem, of course, is that it's the average of 3 viewers. And I have done 60.09 hours of streaming and had an average of 0.44 viewers. So that's where we are. If you're wondering why I'm not on affiliate yet, Rose, that's why. Because I have been broadcasting twice a day, every day since just before COVID started. So, well, every weekday. So I've got some 300 episodes or 600. I do about 600 streams a year over 3 years. That's a lot of streams. More than 60 hours, though, so it must be a unit of 60 hours. Like they just follow the last 60 hours or something. There we go. if you're wondering what I'm doing now, I'm tying pieces of this scene together. So what they're saying here is going to return here. And so I want to make sure I tie all that together. Right? Because it's readers like to read parts of a story where when they enter the story and come out of the story, you end up with things where there's a connection. Forgive me, I don't mean to yawn. A connection between point A and point B. So in this case, we've got a joke that's a returning gag. The scene that I had already come up with was really cute and funny. So let's think about what would Alex want to be thinking about at this point. She's on a ship. The reason I'm looking out the window here is I'm thinking this through. The red herring that we want to set up so that people think that the character is not what she seems. The red herring that I have been kind of working towards here is that there were designer humans on a planet called Zhangshao. And it's the planet where Chang was born, and it's why she's ethnic Chinese, as far as just who she is and how she operates. So, but she was on a planet which they made designer humans, and so everybody is sort of believing that that's where Alex is from, is this designer human world. It collapsed about 15 years prior to this story, maybe 20 years prior to the story. I think it was 20 years. And when it did, the Unity came in and rescued everybody. And that's why Chang is in the Unity is because she was rescued. So the red herring that I'm trying to set up is that Alex is one of those designer humans. And she's not. But I want to help reinforce that in this scene. So I want her to say something to the effect of, I'm tired of being used for other people's, not amusement, but other people's purposes. And it's forming up in my head. The scene is starting to come in here pretty solidly, and it's moving into my head at this point. And I'm thinking I need more coffee. That's what I think needs to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and put us on to BRB, and I'll be right back. I'm just going to go get coffee. See you in a sec. I'm back, and I have the secret to the air shield. It's 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. So I got this fudge. It's a dark chocolate fudge. I kind of want to try it. I'd give you all some of my fudge, but you're all out there in virtual land, so you can't have any of my fudge. Sorry. But really, that's kind of a sorry, not sorry. Because I don't want to share my fudge. Right? It's fudge. It does look super rich. Look at that. It's like a big chunk of... Oh, that's good. It's not rich. Mmm. Wow. That was lovely. Okay. I have one more bite, then I'm going to put it away, though. There. Because the little wrapper it was in kind of disintegrated. I'll put it in that, and that should be good. Welcome back. Re-hi. All you missed was dark chocolate fudge. It was good fudge, though. Not gonna lie. Right? I know, right? How can you possibly survive now that you've missed the dark chocolate fudge? That's so sad. So sad. If folks are watching, Jackson and I go back quite a ways. Mm-hmm. 8. Yeah. Yeah. I think you were there before me because I don't think I joined until 17. But still, at this point, it's academic. The difference between 6 years and 8 years. Shrug. Oh. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. I've been in that group a lot longer than I thought I have. I guess that makes sense. I was talking to Raf at FOCO, and we were talking about him working at DVD Stop. And that's how I met him. Yeah, okay, I kind of remember that now. And I met him at the DVD stop. Oh, hey, somebody's doing something over in the Discord channel. No, somebody else is beeping over in the Discord channel. Why are some of these channels not bringing up their icons? That's weird. Yeah, so we were talking about him getting divorced and remarried and like all of this stuff, and I was like, "You move quicker than that," because we were talking about like his divorce being like finalized and all these pieces parts and oh, this could be really, really funny if Alex starts like polluting all of the crew of the Kitty Wake with colorful language on Discord. I mean, you can post anything you want on Discord. Just go to the duck pond, which is a different link. Is a different link. But yeah, I mean, I will happily talk to you anytime. Just not today, because after this, I'm going to go see if I'm joining college again. I should go back to college. I really need to go back to college. I don't have any money, and I am tired of not having any money. And go to college is a good idea, I think. Moreover, I feel like I should do something. I really like I like making a difference with my children, like the children that I'm teaching in all of my classes. I really like making a difference. Like, these people will remember me for many, many years. And hopefully, since I'm doing driving school, I'm teaching them something that'll make them like survive. Yeah, I mean, whenever you want to talk, Rose, the only thing I will say is I forget to start Discord because I have too many things on my phone that demand my attention. So I forget. So you may have to join my stream at some point and say, "Hey, can we talk?" And I'd be like, "Oh, sure." But we can always talk here on Discord or here on the show too if you want. It looks like a lot of the directors got corona. I tested negative so far. Got COVID. So they are. Some of them are struggling with the COVID right now, which is kind of a bummer. But I wore a mask all weekend. So I'm so far testing negative. I'm also boosted and floosted and all those things. I am nowhere near some of these things. What's on my channel going on now? Oh, I see part of the thing. I can see, Rose, why you're thinking different things. So, Rose, you're in on Kayan's stream. We use a restreamer. So, this stream goes out to a number of locations. I broadcast to Restream, and Restream puts it out on Twitch and YouTube and X, for what it's worth, and Facebook. But it also puts it out on my Twitch channel and Kayan's Twitch channel. Kayan is another artist who's in our collective, because this is a collective group. For example, Art Crumbs is one of the people in our collective, and they are sometimes here at night on the night show. In the mornings, they tend to be working on other projects that require them to not be broadcasting, so they don't join the channel during the day, but they do join at night. And so we broadcast to their YouTube as well. And so I can see why you might be seeing a different thing up there, because you're on Kayan's channel, and Kayan has more followers. So it's entirely plausible that Kayan's channel is doing much better than my channel. I don't know, but my channel is GS Davis Art, and my channel isn't as good as his, which is fine. I'm not in any hurry. This is helping me by helping other people. If I know I have to stream, I work. So I will do work if I have to stream. So I will do these streams all the time, so I feel like I should work. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to think through this scene. I was just wondering whether you were out on my Twitch stream. And I'm noticing you're not on my Twitch stream. You're on Kane's Twitch stream. That may be why you see, because Can may be on his way to affiliate. I don't know. He's been streaming for a long time. And he's been interacting with his people a lot longer too. I've been trying to figure out why. But also, Art Crumbs is correct. Twitch just recently said that if you're an affiliate, you cannot use a restreamer. And so I can't go to affiliate without having to stop restreaming. And I like my restreamer. Not only do I like the ability to transmit to all the different social medias, but I also like the fact I like this interface and I understand it, and I don't want to have to broadcast on Twitch only. I right now broadcast all over the place. Not like it gets me a lot of followers, but the point of this stream is so that you're sort of working at the same time. Like right now, Art Crumbs is working on their work and just happens to be body doubling with me. I just happen to be working on my work. They're working on their work. We're working together. And the idea is that Art Crumbs, just like me, kind of feels guilty if they're not working on work. So they're working on their work. All right. Can you tell me a little about where you were from? It doesn't matter. It's all gone. All right. What about family? Is there someone we can contact? No, they're gone too. And that's a good thing. Mom died when I was 2, and Dad was an anal orifice. Anal orifice? That's definitely a translator thing. Anyway, he's gone too a long time ago. I'm sorry to hear that. I want to go back to when everything was normal. Put a beat here. Okay, so we start out with, hello, how are you feeling? Fine, I guess. Everything is so strange. I have brain fog. Brain fog? That's an interesting phrase. I like it. What do you call it? Encephalopathy? Brain fog is easier. It might be the translator. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I exited that scene and I didn't end up at a point where I can kick Alex out. And that is an issue. I still need to get Alex off the ship. And we don't have to have her on the landing ramp. We really should have something happen here, though. I feel like for one, I don't think I necessarily want this section in here because I don't think she needs to be on the landing ramp. She doesn't need to leave. She can. Hey, Merrick. So far, so good. I think I have creatively used the term anal orifice. There you go. And that's the news for today. It's also 11:02, which means that I've got to actually, right? You're like, what the hell does that mean? So we're working back in the guts of issue 2. It came back from my buddy, and he didn't like a couple of key things, and he was working on these key things. And one of them was he didn't feel like we spent enough time with Alex, the girl. And 2, he felt like it was rushed, like too much happened all at once. And so he was hoping that he needs it broken up into some other things. And 3, he had some serious problems with them letting her go. And he had some very big problems with the fact that she's like the answer to the universe. So I've fixed some of those problems and patched some holes. And now I've gotten back into this scene and I'm fixing pieces. So we're seeing what we can do. But either way, we did come up with a cute and creative thing, which is that the translator keeps translating bad words literally. So Alex is saying things like her dad was an anal orifice. And Mayrell's like an anal orifice. And Alex is like, the translator. It's a translator problem, But now I have decided it would be really, really funny if everybody literally said stuff and they start picking up the bad language from Alex, but it keeps getting literally translated. So, it gets transliterated. So, oh, this whole situation is sexed up. Sex. It'd be hysterical. Like, it's always like literally translating it. Like the translators keep coming across as literally translating it. So, would you please stop sexing around with this instrument and just get to work? I mean, it would be really funny. It keeps literally translating it. And then, like we said, yeah, just don't be an anal orifice about this whole situation and we'll be okay. Oh, I've been female dogging all morning, Some of it doesn't even make sense. Like, it's even funnier that way. See you later there. See you later, Jackson. Hopefully you'll be there online tonight. Oh. All right, guys. It's 11:06. I got to head off to CU Boulder, Colorado University, Colorado Daigaku. and see about being a student up there. But first, I want to get lunch and do something. So I will see you all tonight on tonight's stream. Merrick, you got to show up a little earlier, bro. You're like showing up right at the end of these streams. And I miss you, dude. I miss you. All right. Well, Merrick, I'm appreciating you being here. Rose, I'm glad you were here as well. Jackson, of course, my buddy, my pal. Thank you for being here. Red, I saw you for a minute or two, but it was good to see you for that minute or two. Glad to have you here. And of course, Nightbot has been talking all over the place over there on KN Stream, which is even funnier. So either way, I appreciate all of you guys a lot. Thank you all for being here. Genuinely appreciate you guys being on my stream. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys and find out what's going on in your world. So thank you very much for joining me. And join me again tonight at 9 p.m. Mountain Time when I come back in armed with another episode of Lower Decks. And remember, tomorrow is Star Trek Day, September 8th. It's Star Trek Day, so I will likely be slightly distracted in the morning because I always am on Star Trek Day because they're telling me all this new information about Star Trek and it's going to make me so happy. But that's the way it goes. As always, guys, thank you for being here, and I'll see you tonight. And keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.